I'm back. Well, sorta. The highly anticipated Jordan 1 Union Chicago Shadow, I must say, was a big deal for Union. We were patiently waiting for the release of this particular shoe. A year or two ago, they released the Jordan 1 BBS, which was a collaboration with Chris and his wife, Beth. And unfortunately, it wasn't well received by the sneaker community. With this particular shoe, the I'm back actually does apply. Well, kinda. There are some differences between this particular shoe and what we fell in love with in 2018, which was the original Storm Blue and as well as the black toe colorway. And I want to talk to you about the differences because although these shoes look like they are very similar, there's some differences. And in my opinion, some that can make or break whether you want to acquire them or not. Let's get into it. So the new release has some differences and I want to touch bases on that. This particular leather they used is much more stiffer than the original leather they used on the Storm Blue and on the black toes. I mean, substantially different. So I'm going to give you some close-ups to show you how different. This leather is super soft, buttery, feels super premium. Now, just because the leather is stiffer or softer, that does not define quality. That just defines or points towards the fact that the leather was actually treated differently. Now, the issue I have with the leather being stiffer is the comfort level is usually lower when the leather is stiffer. You got to break it in. With this particular softer leather, there is no breaking in period. You jump right into them and they're comfortable immediately right off the bat. Another thing I noticed was this particular leather is actually not red nor gray. The hide itself is a mustard yellow, as you can see on the edges. It's like a goldish yellow. And what they did is then after the leather was finished, they painted the color red and gray on top of the leather hide, meaning that the leather itself, it's not through and through red. It's actually 95% gold, and then on the very surface, they painted the color red and gray. That is totally different than the original pair. The original pair, where the blue panels are, the leather is through and through blue. If I flip the leather over, you'll see blue suede. Same with the red. It is red all throughout, and all they did was they actually, after the fact, they painted the edges a faded vintage gold. Not this. This is actually gold, and then after the fact, they painted the surface the color you see red and gray. It's a substantial difference. I'll give you some close-up views so you can see what I'm referring to. You can kind of see it where the perforations from the stitch holes are. You'll see even on the inside of the holes a little bit of yellow, that mustard yellow, that gold color bleeding through. You don't see that on this here. That's another difference. Here's an example of what I was talking about as far as the leathers being different. The old Union had a leather like this where it was blue, blue on the edges, blue on the upper, all throughout, through and through. The new Union has a leather like this. It has its color, its final color, but on the edge and on the back of the leather, it's actually a completely different color. Hopefully that helps as a visual. Oh, another thing is the tongue tab. In the sneakerhead community, there is a particular group that are really big on keeping it to its truest form. Me, myself, I'm a customizer, so I'm very flexible. But the differences are, you see the tongue tab here, the original or the classic tongue tab, and then we have this tongue tab that has the same branding, but it's almost on a paper-like material. It's not paper, it won't rip as easy, even though it may feel that way to the touch. But yeah, that's another difference. As far as the shape is concerned, the shape is different. You'll notice it a little bit on the toe cap area. You'll notice it at the back here. This one here kind of curls inward, right? This one it curls inward, but not as aggressively. That's another difference. Now I want to show you guys the differences between in leather softness. This one here, when I actually press down the leather, it gives very easily. When I try to do that to the Union, the new Unions, it doesn't. As you can see, it doesn't really press inward that easily. Look, I'm trying to press it, and it takes a lot more effort to actually get it to crease, to give. So the leather is a lot stiffer, and in my opinion, I would consider that a con because it affects the comfort. It does affect the comfort, in my opinion. Outside of that, the collar is softer, much softer than the red panels for whatever reason. The bone color, it's almost it's a white, but It's almost like an off-white. The panel in the middle is much softer. The leather they used here is much softer than the one at the toe cap. The one at the toe cap, unfortunately, is generally a little on the stiffer end. And so that is a drastic difference. And I'll show you visuals, like I said earlier, so that you can see how the leather behaves. This is much softer than this here. As you can see, look, check this out. I'm going to press the toe cap till the leather gives. The shoe barely moves, right? It does move, but it barely moves. Now look what happens when I try to do that to the new release. Just so you know, I'm not trying to diss Union. I love what they do. In fact, I have a number of their sneakers. But anyhow, look, I'm gonna try and press here. Look, the shoe is literally rocking back and forth, and the toe cap does not give at all. Even here, it takes way more effort. So the leather is much stiffer, and in my opinion, once again, that is a con. Outside of that, I think they did a phenomenal job. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment box below. Shout out to Union and Jordan Brand. We were waiting for this, and I think a lot of people are receiving it well. I'm super excited about them. But just wanted to share the differences in my personal opinion on the execution of the old and the new. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment box below. Peace.